my journey starts about 10 years ago, and it starts in the country of India, I love, where I just got back from with lots of curvy. This is one of the first photos that I took in India with a 35mm, point shoot camera. That was the trip that I went on that I decided I wanted to be a photographer. This is what I was after. I wanted to win the Pulitzer Prize, get the yellow box magazine cover, take photos like Kevin Carter of Africa, because that's the picture of Africa I'd always seen. That was not quite the plan for me. I followed in the strict photojournalism rules. As a photojournalist, you must understand it is not your job to make news, but to record news. So if you're photographing the meeting of two councilmen and you move to make a better photo, you've changed the truth, you've altered the scene, and you've misled the public if you become part of the story. So I started on this photographic journey, completely detaching myself from people, going, I'm going to be invisible, I'm not really there, I'm just going to stop people from afar and try to get that Africa photo that I've always seen in poverty. And one of the first places I started that in was Mozambique. I just got into Tom's shoe drop, photographed a bunch of photos, and I went with this model in Mozambique. And I remember seeing true poverty for the first time, kids who were starving, lots of families in pain, and I photographed these very dark pictures. It was what I saw. And I couldn't actually process the poverty. I was like, I remember coming back going, I just feel helpless to help these people. I don't know what to even put the category in, and I never wanted to return to that place again because I felt just disparity, and there's nothing I could do. I didn't know many projects that were doing anything yet in that world. Shortly after, I got asked to go work on an aid story in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the same thing happened. I just saw people in their circumstance. I shot a food program. I can guarantee there's smiling kids in there, but I saw this, and I wanted to shoot this because this is what I want to show you in order to donate to a project. Lots of loneliness. But then I shot this picture. And this picture changed everything. I shot it, and I looked in the back of the camera, and I remember getting excited about this photo, because it was a picture of Africa I'd always seen, a picture of the belly, a malnourished child, and I really, inside, was like, this is a great photo for my portfolio. This is a great shot that could, and actually it's not a great shot, but I was really, really excited. And I realized I was excited about another person's suffering, and I was excited about another person's pain. I came back from that trip, and I vowed that I wouldn't take any photos anymore, or I would change the photographer. Shortly after, I was asked to go with a group of college students from Oklahoma on a trip to Rwanda to work on a water story. I had no idea what to expect, but I was like, okay, I feel like my heart's in a little bit of a better place. I was ready to learn. And so it was on this trip that I started walking through this village and hearing these words over and over and over in my head. Who we are is not our circumstance. We are not our circumstance. And I had been seeing people for their circumstance rather than for who they really are inside. And this is what happened when I saw people past their circumstance. This was the first time that I got down below somebody and I looked up to. I'm going to start crying thinking about it. This is Manundi, and she's in Murunji village, Rwanda. And I remember saying, Manundi, I want you to look at the light because the light is shining upon you. Those were the other words that I heard over and over. My light is shining upon them. My light is shining upon them. And so I want you to look at her light. Does she even know how beautiful she is? Does she have any idea how magnificently wonderful she is? And that's the story that I wanted to tell. Mamundi's story, I started with the light shines upon them series. That's what it's fun. And I went through the whole village because I was so excited about this magical pictures that were coming out. I was like, I see people differently. This amazing stuff happens. I can go down below and it changes my whole perspective of who they are. And I could have photographed Mamundi. I could have photographed her with flies on her face, in the dirt. She's the one who you see every day, that typical picture is there. But that doesn't make who she is. And that's not what I wanted to capture anymore. And I started working on a water story for Charity Water about a boy named John Bosco. It's the first time I let myself feel. And I let myself be involved in a story. I was detached for so long. And so I worked with a team from Living Water, and we went out to the field. We drilled a well, and in just 3 days, I saw a village transform. It was this moment I wasn't helpless to help anymore. I saw that we could do a story and that would cause change to happen. John Bosco's story was in Saxon Avenue in New York City. There's a gray parrot named after him at SeaWorld. He's famous now. I told him that when I went back and found him. It was so cool because I feel like it wasn't even us that brought all the village's water. It was his story. We just allowed it to be heard. And I rejoiced with Maruji Village as they got clean water. So, a lot of transformation happened, and I was on a roll. So I teamed up with Charity Water, and I went out and did stories with them of beautiful, beautiful people, and showing the reality that's there, but also going, this is the reality of what's there, but this is what it can be and it should be. And I think that those stories have to go hand in hand. We can't just have one story that shows the poverty and the pain. We have to show people and give people hope, like, yes, this is this way, but it doesn't have to be. Each one of these people have a story, and they're my friends. This is Katema, and she's in Ethiopia. And I shot this photo first because I was shooting the water well, and I was like, oh yeah, a woman's coming to the water point. She comes and gets her water, and she walks away, and she started going off on me. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she said, I'm in my pajamas. Do you mind? Like, I'm so sorry. And I told her what we're doing, why they were there, that we were working on a water story to bring water to their village. And I asked her if I could follow her back to her hut. So I go back with her through the mud. And she's like, can I put on my clothes and you take a photo of my family? So they all got dressed up. They're singers in their village. And she's like, this is the photo I want you to show the world. And it's just that goes back to that dignity and respect. It's like, people are people everywhere. You know, if I showed up to your house at 6 o'clock in the morning and started snapping photos of you, would you be offended? Yes. So entrepreneurs is something I've been working on for the last year, and it's something I'm really passionate about just because I've seen so many lives change through that. In the developing world, there's so many people that could be entrepreneurs. And I love working on stories that do that. So this is Johnson. He's got a crazy cool story. He bought this Kickstart pump, I think for $35, and it yields like 1,000% more crops. And so he goes out to the fields and he's watering everything. It's really cool because it has like a spray, and he was able to buy a house, put his kids in school. He sells French beans now to a European company, and he employs 10 people. That's Johnson. But what if I had just snapped his photo without knowing his story? Without any of that, I'd just taken his photo going, oh, here's just a guy in another country. He's got an incredible story that we could learn from him. Like, he knows business principles that we have no idea how to do. And I love that idea. I have people come up to me all the time showing me portfolios from Facebook going, I was in Haiti this last week, and I photographed this child in poverty, and I want you to see the photo. So to take a photo with a child in poverty, that's the other one. I see it so much, and it breaks my heart because I know it, I was there, I'm part of that story. And I just want to see all of us change to be in that right place to go, I'm going to put the camera down. It's not about like what I want or the photo that I want, it's about me in that moment with that person. It's about connecting, it's about serving them, and telling their story to the world. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Whether you're in Africa or Asia or even in Atlanta, wherever you go, put yourself in their shoes. Imagine yourself as them. Imagine your approach to those people. Like, how would you want to be treated by them? Even in this room. Like, look around you in this room, the people next to you. Like, you have this moment with that person. Are you giving them the time of day? Are you giving them the respect that they deserve? Are you looking to the next person that could get you ahead? For that next project, the next funding? It's like you have right now that moment. And I think that is so important in just in each of us to really examine our hearts and going, am I really respecting that person? So thank you very much.